Hey Aquarius, this is your reading for, sorry, I forgot the month for a second, for the month of June. It's for your sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Mars, or Venus. Generally, sun, moon, rising, a lot of times those are very prominent placements. So if you have Aquarius in those placements, or if you have multiple planets, like, not planet, multiple, say like 3 or more in your chart that are in Aquarius, this reading may apply for you. But yeah, so I'll go ahead also in the description and put a link to a free website where you can put your information in, and then it'll tell you your birth chart, or not, it'll give you your birth chart for free. And the way I like to do this is I start out with a vision I had during my meditation time, and then from there I move to tarot cards and oracle cards as guided. But yeah, so as far as the vision I got for you, I was gonna say tarot cards, I'm like, wait, what? As far as the vision I got for you, honestly, it was on a tightrope. You're walking a tightrope and you see something almost like a crumb or like a little speck or something on the rope, and you bend down to like examine it or pick it up. I think more pick it up. It was like a little thing, I don't know, like crumb or something. And when you bend down to pick it up, you fall, but you don't really fall in my vision. What happens is you kind of like stay connected to the rope still. So you just like fall down, and then your momentum brings you back up and you're back up again. So I don't know if some of you guys have been dealing with that kind of concept. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can mean, but yeah, so I feel that, yeah, I'm just going to get into the tarot because I don't want to put too much as far as what that means yet. But yeah, so yeah, and yeah, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest. And yeah, so Spirit, God, Universe, what message do you have for Aquarius for the month of June? Gosh, it feels like it should be May. Yeah. What message do you have for Aquarius for the month of June? Especially in regards to the vision so far. What does Aquarius And I don't do reversals, so that's a weird death card. Okay. Death, the Lovers. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Seven of Pentacles and Six of Swords. So I'll go through the meanings of all the cards first, like general meanings. And then I'll go into like what it seems like it's meaning for your reading specifically, intuitively wise. Death, I mean, death isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes death is just birth of a cycle, or not birth, I mean death of a cycle or death of a situation, but rebirth of a new one. Yeah, there's more in that one though. Like, I mean, you see like, it's like, what's growing, the new growth is what's ending this. So it's like, but ending, but I feel like for some of you guys, it feels very hindered. So it might not have just been like an end, but rather felt like a paralysis before the end, if that makes sense for some of you guys. But again, where there's a death of a cycle, there's a birth of a new one. So it's not necessarily a bad card. The Lovers, a lot of times the Lovers isn't just a romantic situation. Sometimes it's a, let's see, what do we have here? Yeah. Sometimes it's a, it's like two different paths, two concepts, two two paths and you choose, and, you know, accordingly is, you know, what comes with, you know, your choice. It's interesting, like, talk about like paths, lifestyles, everything. There's so much in that card. I love this deck. This is the Dream Keepers Tarot. Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles a lot of times is just really diligent work, but it's also looking forward and looking at the future and the past and adjusting, tweaking things. Like Pentacles a lot of times is finances or material things. So a lot of times it's, you know, it can be. I mean, it can not be too. I mean, it depends, but depends on your reading. Like I said, this is for the collective. But it's basically like adjusting, making adjustments needed so that you can have a better outcome in your work or whatever you're building. But it is a lot of attention to detail energy. Especially this one feels very like attention to detail. And I feel like, I know these are pentacles, but she's got like is that 4-leaf clover? Yeah, she's got like, is that a 4-leaf clover? I don't know. That's what it feels like, a 4-leaf clover. Like she's got them all over and she has one in her hand. So I feel like she's trying to like emulate that in the pentacles, or emulate, like she's trying to, for your reading, it feels like there's like trying to create something into something that's familiar. Especially like on her head, there's like a dancing ballerina thing, and it's like that's her ideology. Like, I mean, it may or may not be her ideology, but that's in her brain, that's her thought. So there's a mentality of like having a model or a idea, and then the creation based off of that idea. And then 6 of Swords, wow, so crazy, is like moving on, is a, you know, going to a different path, a different direction. Sometimes it's a mental different change of direction, belief, but a lot of times it's like a new path, a new way of doing things. I feel like for this one, for some of you guys, if you're in that situation, you might feel like if this is 2 different people, then it's one thing. But if it's the same person, you feel like one part of you is like resting while the other is like hyper vigilant and like in the front. So it's like any kind of brunt is taken from the front. So there might be an element of like, in order to do that resting, you also feel like you have to be hyper vigilant at other times. Others of you, if this is a 2-person thing, especially I see like that there, it's almost like creating a cage around it. So it feels like in order to get to this new pasture, in order to get to this new place, like, again, guards and like cage, and might feel like you have to sleep. Like, I don't know, there's more to that. I don't want to dig too much into that yet without going through all of it, but there's a lot in that that keeps coming at me when I'm looking for certain aspects. The first thing I noticed with this is the fact that this is like a red and black element, and then this is reds and this is blacks, and then there's like, so it really feels like for some of you guys, I feel like this is surrounded by this. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure what I'm seeing here. Yeah, I feel like this is a combination, but it's not so much that it's a combination. I feel like this may represent this person. So I do feel like for a lot of you guys, this is a connection. This isn't just different pathways. This is a connection you guys have. And one person has kind of allowed this energy to tinge them. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I say tinge, but like they've become a combination of their partner and them. And it might have felt kind of suffocating. Yeah. It's interesting too, because they're headless and it's the birds that hold up the faces. So it's like this other energy that allows them to connect. But in reality, themselves might not naturally connect. They come from 2 different places. Like, is this cards? Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah. It's like a house, or not house, but whatever, built by playing cards. And this is just complete openness and like the moon, everything there. So it's like 2 different lifestyles, 2 different places. And I feel like this is what has happened with her. And it may be vice versa, like, and the gender isn't specific in this. It's just one person and the other person. But this is what happened to this character. And then I feel like this is kind of what's going on with this character, where it's like there's an emulating, a concept of emulating, of creating the house from cards. So creating one thing, like not a house, but the person. I keep saying house because usually house of cards, but is there people in it? Is there? I don't know what I'm seeing. It looks like there's like somebody hanging right there, but I'm not sure if that's what I'm seeing or that's what I feel. Either way, it's creating a person out of cards. So it's creating one element out of, well, one like, you know, human element out of something that's man-made, out of cards. So again, an ideation, an ideology, creating something with the idea of something else. So it's like this person might have came into the connection. There's like a note or money or something in the hands right there. But this person came into the connection with feeling like they can make it, and they can make themselves, and they can make themselves basically stand up to the occasion based off of their talents. It's not necessarily just talents though. I mean like literally like their skills and their like skills. Like by their like not supernatural stuff, not anything really human, not anything intimate and human. They came with that. This one came in with maybe like a mystical element, a religious element, a belief and trust in that stuff. So it's like this person's coming in with, okay, I'm gonna present myself, and I'm gonna be up for the occasion, and I'm gonna be what you want me to be, or what I need to be in this, you know, connection, based off what I bring to the table in the tangible and what I've created, what I've made. But again, not an intimate human being, not themselves actually. It's what they made. And this person came with not themselves, but rather their values and that's what they're bringing to the table. And again though, like I feel like this is very watchful energy, like 7 of Pentacles. Okay, you know, try to do a good job in details and change things. There may be some pain, some hurt there. Like it's in the color of green so much towards almost suffocating. But it's like, but it doesn't feel green. It doesn't feel like that kind of energy. So it feels like it's a forced growth to do this, because he's not that. He's literally like made of cards. You know what I mean? So that's the energy he's bringing. This character is bringing, is a mental, I'm going to do it in my head and hopefully this works. Me making out of money. Again, like I said, his hands, what he's made, me making out of money or out of things I can build a semblance of natural resources, a semblance of growth, a semblance of humanity. I hope that makes sense. And this could be you or this could be you. It's, you know, up in the air in that sense. It really is, actually. I feel like whether this is you or whether this is you, just seeing this whole reading and seeing how this all works is like, can open up doors for you in understanding what you're dealing with. But in doing this, well, now I'm trying to see, I feel like, yeah, okay. Yeah, so here we go. This is what happened. This isn't, I don't believe, there might be some of you. Okay, hold up. No, there's 2 groups. So some of you, this is part of this character, and this is the 2 energies backing him. And when it's that, it's basically he's hyper vigilant, as, you know, human as can be, but really he's sleeping and he's got his defenses up, right? Because he can't actually be human enough to heal, to grow, to do any of that stuff. He's only built himself up based off of, well, cards, but based off of tangible, based off of He's built his value on that. Like, he doesn't even know what he holds other than that. That's what he's used to bring to the table. So he's like hyper vigilant in that sense, trying to go to greener pastures and keeping, you know, this could be like a part of him, like I said, the part that's not willing to actually come up and come out and heal and grow and be human, come to his humanity. Or it can also be, okay, so then, yeah, so that's the case. The other scenario for a group of you is this is one, this is the other, and this is how it's going, where he is this character and she's been this character just along for the ride. But really, because she's along for the ride and he's the one vigilant, it's like she has felt like she's been stuck and she hasn't had any part of any of it. So she's been stuck and in a not even defensive, like in that scenario, I don't feel like this is so much defensive on her end. It's more so keeping her in a cage. So the defenses that can keep other people out, other connections out, keep her in a cage. So some of you guys might be dealing with a possessive, if you're this character, you might be dealing with a possessive situation, that the things that keep others out keep you in a cage. But it's also kept you down to where you've kind of felt like, well, yeah, you felt like you've been hindered, you've like suffocated in that. But it's also because he's the only one with the eyes open, but his eyes are open, not as a human being, not as a healed, grown person. And like I said, this can be he, she, that gender doesn't matter. I'm just using so it's easy to identify in that. But not as a grown person, but rather as a, not inhumane, but like false representation of himself. That's the hypervigilance there. And then he might have kept you like that. They might have kept you, you know, the partner, whatever you're dealing with, might have kept you in this place of guarded, protected, not protected, but keeping others out. And in that sense, giving you a sense of that you're stuck. And some of you guys, that's felt comfortable. You've told yourself that's really comfortable because then it keeps other people away. It keeps unfamiliar people away. And this is your safety, comfy place. But in doing that, you've lost yourself. You've lost your need to be yourself in your mind. It's like you do need to be you. But literally, the unit is guided by a person made of cards. Not even like human. And neither of you are actually the ones showing your faces to each other. It's birds, it's other energies, it's other spiritual energies, it's, you know, other influences allowing you to look at each other. But you're not even connected to your body. So you're still like, and the thing is too, is some of you, if this is you or person you're dealing with or whatever, this person's like opening up, like, hey, look, this is what's inside me. Like, this is what I got going. And like coming to the table like that. This person is just cards like that, but not really trying to hide it, but also not really specifically trying to show it. It's just, they literally think that they're just the same, superhuman. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like they think they've built themselves on cards and these kind of things so much, the tangible in that way, and that's all they've built their value in themselves, and that's what they've brought in this, because that's what they've been allowing to touch in themselves. Like, they haven't been allowing to go deeper than that in themselves for themselves ever, really, possibly. That they don't know how, like, not connected to that, not in tune with themselves they are. They don't know how not in tune with their humanity they are. They just brought all they knew. You, on the other hand, seem like you, if this is you, or, you know, this character seems like, this person seems like more aware that they're kind of different, but they're open and honest about, okay, well, this is what I'm bringing to the table. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is he has something in his hand, whether it's a letter, whether it's money, whatever it is, he isn't coming empty-handed. So part of him is saying that's what makes him maybe valuable. Part of him also maybe that's what makes him less connected, because he's coming already with his own ideologies of what's needed and everything. And you're coming a lot more open. You guys are both kind of, you know, in a different way, but yeah, and this is, yeah. As far as in regards to the vision, I don't know who it's about exactly, but it's the element of when you step down to pick something up. If you're already on a tightrope, you're already on something where you've lost your identity. You've lost your identity. You've lost your, you know, it's like you fall back, or not fall back. You fall, you know, you fall when you basically, it's like when you go and try to pick something up on the tightrope, you suddenly see that you're on a tightrope. Tightrope. Sorry, my like emphasis on the word's weird. You suddenly see, wow, okay, that's really weird. You suddenly see the reality of the situation. It's like when you go and you, I don't know how to describe it. So some of you guys may have seen the reality of the situation in a way where you weren't looking for it, literally. Like you were just like, oh, what's this? And you pick this thing up, right? Or you try to go pick it up. So some of you guys, you know, you were literally trusting and willing to just like lay down and disappear in a way. And it might have felt limiting and it might have felt like you were stuck, but you didn't really understand to have the desire for anything better. You were in your own world. You thought that's the way things worked for some of you. So when you pick this thing up, suddenly it's like your world crumbles down. Like suddenly you realize you're on a tight rope. Like literally you're not on stable ground. And then you fall. But it's like a cycle. It's like, it's almost like being there for the good times. So it's like there might be the comfort in that, the comfort in this, the comfort in this. So then you come back up again because your mentality is like, oh no, this isn't a good situation, but this is so comfortable. And this is all I've ever known. And then bam, you're back up again in this fantasy world of the tightrope being like solid ground, but really it's limiting. Like, okay, fly and be with the birds and be in this nice place. But do you really want to be limited to only being like your life being on a tightrope to where like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it, but basically like it's not solid ground. It's a time being type thing, but you've been on this consistently. And you just think that, not you're safe, but you just think that this is the way life should be for you. That you should feel that walking on eggshells. You should feel that needing to be careful not to fall. Not because you actually think you're going to fall, but because your body senses that it's on something small, skinny like that, you know, like the rope, to where you need to adjust your balancing. Your body senses it, if that makes sense. I hope that's making sense. It's kind of weird, but it's... And I feel like that's you. Like the tightrope, I believe I'm talking to this person right now. But energies could be flipped and it could be this person I'm talking to. But honestly, I think this person's more open to hear it, to be honest. But who knows? You know, it is what it is. Let's see what we have here. Spirit, God, Universe, what message do you have for Aquarius for the month of June in regards to the reading and the vision so far? And this is the Magic of You Oracle deck by Fiona Horn. I don't know if I pronounced her last name right, but... And I'll have the decks listed in the description below as well. Spirit God, Universe, what message do you have for Aquarius for the month of June? Oh, okay. Compassion for others. Yeah, okay. So what's happening is your connection... This is such a crazy deck. Your connection... I may read the book too. I don't like reading guidebooks, or not guidebooks, but yeah, guidebooks for oracle decks and everything in my readings. A lot of times because I don't want to just rely on that. But in relation to the reading so far, it's like your compassion is keeping you, it's like in order to keep the peace and keep this comfortable place and keep him feeling like a man, or keep this person feeling like, you know, the power they have, everything, you're kind of like shutting yourself down. So it's like your compassion for others is what you're saying is like, oh, it's a good thing. You know, I'm going to stay in this, or I'm going to stay in this mentality that this is healthy and this is okay because this is the nice thing to do. And in reality, like, that's kind of, that's kind of like, I mean, sorry, there's like a fly. It's funny how these two color, those decks, those cards are very similar color. Yeah, so you're staying in this because you're like, oh, but look, like the plant likes me. You know, it's like strangling you and like limiting you. It's like, but the plant likes me. You know, this is good. I'm making the plant happy. It's like, even in this, like, look at that. Like, it's so similar. It's like, let me let it go through here. Let me let it go through here. Even if it takes out your eyes and it makes it to where you can't see this and you can't do that. It's like, but it likes me. You know? Gosh, I hope this is resonating for you guys. It's a crazy reading. I'm going to see what it is. So 34 Ubuntu, right? Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is saying, like, as a good thing. But it's literally, what if you were solely defined by your compassion for others and the kindness you extended? But the thing is for you to be kind and extend kindness, you have to fill up yourself too. So if you go to this place to where you die just to make others feel good, like, it's like you get smaller and smaller and smaller, and pretty soon you're not going to be even able to be there for others. And you're going to see yourself so low. It's like you don't need to be a sacrifice to be loving to other people. But I do feel like some of you guys, this is, okay, I'm going to read this, but like I said, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. This is more so what you have been doing, but in like a martyr way, in a way, and an idea that your value is less than the other people. So it's like you've been taking this to an unhealthy place, is basically, in order to do this. It says, what if you were solely defined by your compassion for others and the kindness you extended? How would your life look? How would you conduct yourself if Ubuntu, humanity, so it's supposed to be humanity, was solely what you were noted for? Consider how your benevolence can extend to other species and creatures. This is a time to empathize with others' journeys and put yourself in their shoes. So some of you guys, it's like you've done this because you've empathized so much with others that you've empathized more with them than yourself. You've been trying to make them come out in the top, but even if it meant that you were like not even nothing but destroyed in the process. And some of you, like, you've like felt like that's the only way that can happen, is if you're destroyed in the process. Like, you have to be the sacrifice. For better or for worse, the girl pierces her own eye with the leaf, and in doing so opens the window of her soul and learns from the challenges and the gifts of others. So I feel like some of you guys are dealing or have put yourselves, not even in this one only, but have put yourselves in bad situations, telling yourself, well, it's going to teach you. You're allowing, so it's like you've had less boundaries in situations to get out of them, some of you, because you've told yourself, well, you're learning from this. This is good for you. But it's like you're part of the being good for you is you learning to put down your boundaries so that you can actually show people that boundaries are healthy, and you can show people, you know, and I'm not talking about the people that are doing that to you necessarily. I'm saying like the people around you. You can inspire other people to be strong in themselves and to, you know, to know how to be loving towards themselves, and know that that's not a bad thing. Yeah, and doing so opens a window to her soul and learns from the challenges and the gifts of others' journeys. So that's what you've been trying to do. You've been trying to connect to understand other people. She is peaceful and reflective. There is no pain, only greater understanding and greater wisdom. But like I said, you're taking this from a different place. Like I said, that's not exactly the same, but it says now is the time. Yeah. So you've been noticing other struggles and trying to help them, but you've lost yourself in the process. So, yeah. So I feel like, yeah, like it was important to read that because you need to understand like what you've been doing, but I don't really feel like for this reading specifically that that's what you need to continue doing, because that's what's kept you, that's what's put you there, and in a sense has let this person literally be built of cards, and he hasn't like, and I'm not saying you need to change this person, but it's just you need to put your boundaries down so you can come back up as yourself. I hope that resonated for you guys. That was kind of a crazy reading. Let me know if it did in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, share this reading. Like, if you know that people need to hear this message, you know, share this reading. If you like my readings in general and you want to spread the word, share it. It really helps my channel grow, and it's been awesome for those of you that have been commenting and subscribing. Like, the channel's really been growing a lot, and I really appreciate that. So it's been awesome. Thank you guys. See you.